Om. 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 I'll request Sister Kalyani to give a summary from the last week before we get started. Thank you.
Sairam. So last week we discussed the two concepts of ekagrata, which is a noun, and kendri karana shakti, which is the verb or the ability to concentrate. And Swami was saying that in Raja Yoga, this ability to concentrate is like the snow peak or the highest. And for anyone to be able to resist the crores of unnecessary thoughts that enter the buddhi and confuse it, Raja Yoga is the only refuge. And Swami also gave himself as an example and said that when he concentrates his ability to concentrate, his Kendri Karana Shakti, and his love, then he's able to explain his thoughts more clearly to us. And Swami says similarly in anything, anyone, whatever they're focused on, that activity will be well performed if they do it with concentration and ekagrata.
Thank you, Sister. Do we want to read that English paragraph again, or if you want, we can go forward to the next one?
Yes.
Please go to the next one.
Sister Vani, are you able to read?
Yes, Sister Saira. Jnana Yoga is mostly devoted to the study of principles, basic principles. This universe or cosmos that we cognize as outside ourselves can be explained by means of various theories of knowledge, but no one of them can be convincing to the uninitiated. The Jnana Yogi weaves many such theories and hypotheses. He is not convinced of the reality of any material object in the universe or of any activity or even of anyone else who propounds any other explanation. He believes that he should transcend the daily chores of life and not be bound by social or other obligations. In the vast ocean of isness or sat, true reality, all objects are but drops in his view. They are all struggling to move from the circumference to the center, from which they manifested through Maya. The Jnana Yogi too yearns to merge in the center, the core of reality, away from the tangle of apparent diversity. He exerts himself to become the truth, not only to become aware of it. Of course, as soon as he is aware of it, he becomes it. He cannot tolerate the thought that he and truth are separate and distinct.
Thank you,
Saira,
Sister. Yeah, yes, Auntie.
can I read?
Yes, Auntie.
ఇక మిగిలినది జ్ఞాన యోగము.
Here, what is remaining is Jnana Yoga.
దీనిలో పూర్తి తత్వ విచారమే అధికముగా కానవచ్చును.
Here, Tarka Vichar, sorry, Auntie.
తత్వ విచారం.
Okay, the propounding the principles, Auntie.
Yeah, correct.
Here,
basic principles. Principles.
Yeah, here yeah, understanding of the basic principles is what it is devoted to.
దృశ్య కల్పితమైన లోకమును
In the universe, in the world that is seen or cognizable,
అతీతమైన ఊహలు కలిగి ఉండును.
there are several theories, auntie,
Yeah.
or concepts.
Concepts.
There are several concepts surrounding this.
Yeah. లోకములోని ఏ వస్తువును ఏ పనియును
In this world, whatever object
we see or whatever work we do, ఏ పని అయినను
yeah,
ఎవరును అతనిని తృప్తి పరచాలవు.
nothing of that will satisfy him.
A gnani cannot be satisfied by any kind of work, any object, anything. Worldly things he doesn't. Yeah. Jalaru, that means he cannot. అసలు జీవితమునకు సంబంధించిన నిత్య కృత్యములను కూడాను
In fact, whatever is the daily activities that are associated in this world,
అతిక్రమించి పోవాలని ఆ జ్ఞాన యోగి తలంచును.
Atikraminchi, what is the, I
He
don't,
goes beyond that. Atikrama.
okay. Yeah, for the Jnana Yogi, he goes beyond that.
Yeah. ఆస్తికత్వమును మహాసముద్రములో
in the great ocean of people, those who believe.
ఆస్తికత్వం is easiness or
Theism.
yeah.
Theism.
Yeah.
To believe in
Thanks.
God.
Yeah. That, yeah.
నిత్యకృతములను కూడాను అతిక్రమించి పోవాలని ఆ జ్ఞానయోగి తలంచును. ఆస్తికత్వమును మహాసముద్రములో
In the great ocean of theism,
లోక వస్తువులన్నీ బంధువుల వంటిగా తోచును.
all the objects in the world are perceived as relatives.
మూలాధారమైన గమ్యము, కేంద్రము, కీలకము.
The main goal, Mooladhara main.
గమ్యము is goal, కేంద్రం is center, కీలకము is key.
Yeah. Okay. The key to the center
and the goal. చేర ఉబిళ్ళూరును జ్ఞానయోగి.
The Jnana Yogi strives to attain this.
Yeah. సత్యమే తాను కావాలని ప్రయత్నించును.
He makes an effort to become the truth.
సత్యము వేరు తాను వేరుగా ఉండనొల్లదు.
He and truth cannot be separate.
దానిని వేరుగా భావించడు.
He will not perceive it as separate.
అతనికి సర్వబంధువు భగవంతుడే అని భావించును.
He will cognize everything as God.
అన్య చింతలు కానీ అన్య బంధములు కానీ
There will be no other thought or feelings.
Yeah.
Bandhu, relatives.
బంధములు,
attachments.
కానీ అన్య వాంఛలు కానీ ఉండవు.
No other desires also will exist.
Auntie, I think we read up.
We should stop here, Kalyani?
Yes, I think we only read up to there.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank
So
you.
Swami is speaking about Gnana Yogi, what he really is, what his attitude towards the worldly object was. That's what Swami said. Okay, please go ahead, Sai Satish.
Yeah, thank you, Auntie. I'll just wait for anyone else if they have.
That sentence where Satyamu Veru Tanu Veruga, does that mean he is not different from truth?
Auntie, you're on mute, Auntie.
He is.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is not different from truth, and truth is not different from him.
That word astikatvamu mahasamad. Auntie, were you saying, because in the English translation it's saying the ocean of isness? So
it is ocean of isness he is written, or sat, or reality.
So here it is astika meaning?
Here astikatvam is positive belief in the truth,
Yeah.
in the reality.
Astika is one who believes in God. Nastika is one who does not believe in God.
You know that.
Astikatvam is those who profess belief in existence of God.
Existence.
So would you say the English translation is a bit off there? So it's saying the ocean of isness, like being...
All objects are but drops in his view. But here, lokavastulanyu banduvula vantiga tochunu. Swami says banduvuluga tochunu. Sitaram is there. You can...
Yes, Auntie. Sitaram is there. Yeah.
Yes, Auntie. I think this Asti, I think Satish Anna and Mani Auntie can correct me. The root word is Asti. Asti is anything which exists.
But in Telugu,
So there are...
Swami is using A.
Yes, Auntie. So Asti comes from Asti.
Yes.
So any feeling that is derived from existence is Astikatvam.
Yeah.
And hence, everyone who believes that there is, what is that there is? It is that principle, which is God. That is theism. That became as theism, which is again isness only. Isness, nothing, it means something is there. That belief is called Astikatvamu. And everything that you see around, it has bhati. Swami touched upon these in several discourses. Asti, bhati, and priti. So as you develop relationship, so bhati is nothing but the Chaitanya within this existence. So whatever is there around us, there is bhati, which is Chaitanya, which is also similar to Satchit Ananda. And Preeti is the bondage that is developed as you interact with both Asti and Bhati, which is nothing but Ananda. Or it could be sorrow if it is going downwards, right? So I think what Swami is telling here is, for a Jnana Yogi who is believing in God, everything that he sees around, he sees that Bhati, which is Chaitanya, and that gives him Ananda. And that is like a relative. Everything is related to that easiness, that principle, which is the first sentence here. Jnana Yoga is mostly devoted to Tattva Vicharana, which is study of the basic principle, which is that easiness, that is existence itself, which is Asti. And the one who's believing in that is become Astika. That is how I'm understanding this context.
Correct.
I'll request others to add.
Excuse me, Sairam. Swami is using the word banduvulu vantiga tochunu. Why is Swami using banduvulu?
Because he is part of it, no, Auntie.
Okay.
Because the Jnana Yogi is not different from truth.
Yeah.
That means he is that isness. He or she is that isness, identifying with that isness. And the entire universe is but the creation of that isness. That means it is coming from that truth itself, which is no different from Jnana Yogi. And hence it is all seen as relatives. I mean,
yeah.
So,
and here the translation is the drops here used word.
Yeah.
Drops. He used the word samudra, that is the ocean. He says it is all the drops. So
yeah.
The word that is samudra.
Auntie, can you read that line again once?
Yeah, sure. లోకములోని ఏ వస్తువును ఏ పనియను ఎవ్వరును అతన్ని తృప్తి disturbances there.
Yeah, I don't know if I can mute them.
Somebody has unmuted. Anyway, ఎవరును అతనిని తృప్తి జాలరు. అసలు జీవితమునకు సంబంధించిన నిత్య కృత్యములను కూడాను అతిక్రమించి పోవాలని ఆ జ్ఞానయోగి తలంచును. ఆస్తికత్వమును మహాసముద్రములో లోక వస్తువులన్నీ బంధువుల వంటిగా తోచును. మూలాధారమైన గమ్యము, కేంద్రము, కీలకము చేర ఉబిళ్ళురును జ్ఞానయోగి. Want me to? Is it okay, Sai Satish?
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Yeah. I was just trying to again, based on what you read and what Sitaram also was mentioning, I was just trying to go to because what essentially, and like if I have to summarize it, the Jnana Yogi in everything of the day-to-day activities, they try to go beyond what is that day-to-day activity, because they are not satisfied with what is the gross thing as such. They try to go beyond what is apparent as such. And they try to find, like again, the same thing what we discussed last time and what Sitaram was mentioning. We have Asti Bhati Priyam, or we have Satchit Ananda. But what the normal people do are they get caught in the Rupa and Nama. But the Jnani will try to go beyond the Rupa and Nama, beyond the name and form, and essence the Asti Bhati and Priyam or the Satchitananda, because that alone will help the Jnani become one with the truth. Because at that point in time, because that is the truth, they become one with it, even as they perceive or make that effort to always see that Asti Bhati Priyam or Satchidananda. It's essentially that is what is making them get into that, what here is mentioned as ocean of highness. But basically the salt doll becomes the ocean, rather than every time seeing it as a salt doll or things of that kind. It becomes one with that Satchidananda. I don't know if anyone else has any.
Just one more sentence, if we can just clarify the translation. The second sentence, Drishya Kalpitamaina.
దృశ్య కల్పితమైన లోకమును అతీతమైన ఊహలు కలిగియుండును.
So the translation I have from ChatGPT is he possesses thoughts that go beyond this visible world. Is that correct?
దృశ్య కల్పితమైన లోకము. This universe is imaginary. దృశ్య కల్పితము. Am I okay? Am I correct? So that's. And
Yes,
there అతీతమైన ఊహలు కలిగి ఉండును. So some imagination, some concepts. ఊహలు means imaginations or many.
Yes.
It comes out in many, because it's an imaginary world, and our ideas about this imaginary world also is imaginary.
Yes.
So is it saying that the Jnani has thoughts or imaginations that go beyond this imagined visible world?
About the world, yes. He is not satisfied with anything, any object in the world or any action which is going on, or anybody for that matter. He is not happy. Atanini trupti parajalavu. He is not satisfied with all these things, because he is looking something beyond that.
More of like the Neti kind of a thing. I see Sister Aruna has her hand up. Yes, sister.
Sai Ram, is it okay? We'll go one by one sentence from the beginning.
Okay, sure.
And little more, because what is study of principle, what is basic principle, then that's beyond that, then they are coming with but no one then can be convincing to the uninitiated part. So if we study one by one line on that, because now we are starting this Jnana Yoga, is it?
I think it's better we read English translation one by one, and then go into the meaning, what it says. Sai Satish or Satya?
Yes,
I think
Auntie. Yeah.
there are some sentences in English which I don't think are there in Telugu?
In
Maybe
Telugu.
it'd be better to go
That's a,
through the Telugu sentences.
what is
So
that basic
maybe
principle they mean by that? And I try to understand from the second sentence and the but no one then can be convincing to the uninitiated. What did that mean? Kind
that's
of.
what, sister. I think it's better to go with the Telugu one.
Okay, then I
So maybe yes, Auntie. Auntie, when you read Sitaram, it's better as Auntie reads. Maybe you can translate it. We'll go line by line, and then I think it'll be better. So we can keep the English for reference, but we'll stick with the Telugu one.
okay.
And then maybe we can just pause after each line to see if there's any question on that line.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
ఇక మిగిలినది జ్ఞాన యోగము.
Henceforth, whatever is left is Jnana Yoga.
దీనిలో పూర్తి
In this,
పూర్తి తత్వ విచారమే అధికముగా కానవచ్చును.
in this Jnana Yoga, it is predominantly covered by complete Tattva Vichara. So, Tattva is the principle, the basic principle, and Vichara
ఎంక్వైరీ.
is thinking, inquiry of that. So, that is Jnana Yoga, is what Swami is telling here. We'll pause here, Auntie. If we
Yeah,
have
we'll
questions,
pause
we
it.
can take.
So maybe we should discuss about the word tattva vichara. What is it? తత్వ విచారమే అధికముగా జ్ఞానం కానవచ్చును.
So anyone wants to share their thoughts on what is? We have two things: Tattva, Vichara. Yes, Sister Vani.
Sairam, brother. So the basic, here we are referring the basic principle. What is that? Is that the God and we are one? Is that the Ekatwam is the basic principle here? What is the basic principle we are talking about here?
Yes, anyone wants to?
Sairam, sorry. So
సాయిరామ్.
generally, that Jnana Yoga, the Sanjay will know. Generally, these all this Dvaidam, Advaidam, Vishdadvaidam, Advaidam, all these principles, and Maya, what is Maya, and so many varieties of principles are there to explain what is God and what is world. No? So Jnana Yoga is even the who am I inquiry, is one of the main portion in the Jnana Yoga principles. No? So all these, basically we know that God, beings and world, the connection between the three, and how the people, how the each philosophy look at these three as different or one or like that. So the questioning and mainly the principles in Tattvamasi, Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, those Mahavagyas, I am Atma Brahma. So these things, what is the meaning of that, and basically what Upanishad says that, so what is Upanishad saying about this? These are the things that contained in the Jnana Yoga section, usually. So that's what is a study of principles. Tattvamasi. What is meant by Tattvamasi? Thou art that. So like that. That's what I understand. Now others can let us know what you all think about this one.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, Sanjayana.
Sairam, Satish. See, if we earlier in the chapter, when Swami starts the very first sentence for Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Swami says these are people who want to sanctify every one of their acts. But even prior to that, even prior to getting to that point of sanctifying everyone's acts, they are just moved by the suffering of others in society. And that is what motivates them to indulge in unselfish acts. in karma. And eventually, as they progress in that path, um, uh, much later comes the stage where you sanctify the act by offering it to God. Similarly, in Bhakti Yoga, but in both Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, you start with the belief that a God exists. And same thing in Bhakti Yoga, Swami says you start by expressing love for God. You start with the belief that there is a God that exists, that is responsible for this creation. And then you express your love for that God, reverence for that God, and you seek blessings from that God, you seek favors from that God, and so on. And you pursue that path. In Raja Yoga, Swami talks about it being getting mastery over the mind, ekagrata. Even in Raja Yoga, eventually it leads to, as Swami says, Ishvara Prerita Jnana, meaning only the wisdom that is inspired by Ishvara, the Saguna Brahman. And there also the concept of God comes in at that point where ekagrata is deployed, quote unquote. But the Jnana Yoga, the Jnani does not start with any belief. All that the Jnani is trying to explore is, why am I here? What is this around me? And starts with that fundamental question, why do things exist? What is it that makes things exist? And what is it that makes things that exist? What is it that makes me aware of the things that exist? Starts with those fundamental questions. They are not even starting with the belief. There is no belief here that something, there is a God that exists. No, you question the existence of things around you, and then explore through the various techniques that that is already talked of in Upanishads, to eventually arrive at the fundamental basis for all of existence. And that is the journey of a jnana yogi. So in that sense, they are exploring the tattva vichara is what is the basis of everything? What is the fundamental principle that governs the basis of existence itself? That is my understanding.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna.
Sairam,
Yes, Sandy.
a Gnani wants to know what is the reality. You call it reality, or you call it existence, or you call it isness. What is the real thing which exists? His basic question is that. And what is the relationship between the world and that existence? You may not call God. A Gnana Yogi may not call this thing as God, but it's existence, isness. That what is that isness, and what is the relation between the world and that isness? What is the relation between as an individual jiva and then God? That is why they call jiva, jagat, ish, jagadisha. Jiva, jagat, jagadisha. So this is the three things which a Gnani wants to know. Saira.
Thank you, Auntie. Anyone else has anything else to add? Okay. Yes, Sitaram.
Hi, Ramani. Just wanted to, Tattva is like the topic itself is something which is unseen of everything which is seen, and hence putting them into words is little challenging for anyone, and for that matter. So I think Swami has given various examples through his discourses. One example that comes to my mind is the foundation of a building. So whenever we see buildings around us, the edifices that you see around us, especially if you go to the downtown, you see so beautiful buildings all around. But we never, we always look at them and we praise their beauty, but we never think of the foundation which is under the ground. without which those buildings would not stand. So the beauty that we see is actually dependent on something which is unseen and which is present even before the scene is present. And that fundamental foundation, if it is absent, those buildings cannot exist. So in this example, if you really see what is the tattva vicharana that we are doing here, there is beauty which is not permanent. There is beauty which has not always been there, but there is foundation which has always been there, which may not be seen by us, which may not be praised by anybody. But this Jnana Yogi always first thinks about that foundation and then relates the building to it, saying that the building is beautiful because of such a great foundation. And hence that is becoming a bandhu of this foundation, that tattva. So that is how I'm understanding this perspective that Swami is mentioning here. Sairam.
Thank you, Sitaram. Any other
Another
comments?
example can be given about a tree. Roots are the same. In fact, they are the most important part of a tree, but it cannot be seen. Roots cannot be seen. We appreciate the beauty of the tree. We consume its fruits and flowers, but we don't attach any importance to the root, and we not even think of it. Swami is here talking about a Gnana Yogi, how he looks at the world. The root, the foundation of the whole thing has to be first understood before the whole structure is understood. Saira.
Thank you,
So,
Auntie.
so
Yes,
it's like
Sister.
studying the cause of it, like we studied the cause and effect before. So it's like a Jnana Yogi study the cause, which is the basic. That's maybe covering with the basic principle then. Okay, great. Thank you, Saira.
Couple of points there actually, like what Brother Shivda started off with. We have Tattvamasi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, and Prajnanam Brahma. So each of these Vedas come up with their own, the quintessence of each of these. And what Swami says is, when you take Tattvamasi, the Guru sits on the stage of Tat and then tells the Tvam, who is the disciple, what is the Asi, the process to become one. And if we see, based on what Sanjay Anna was saying also, the Karma Yoga again comes through actions, and actions performed through the body. Bhakti Yoga, again, we can look at the level of the mind and so on. And Jnana Yoga is always at the level of the Atman. So one, you will see predominantly what is dominant in Karma Yoga predominantly is body. Again, you can see at the level of the mind. I'm not saying it is bhakti, but I'm saying predominantly but the mind is involved. And in Jnana Yoga, you will see completely it's established from the I-ness or that fundamental basis. It's always established on Satchidananda or Asti Bhati Priyam. That's where so it's from Jnana Yoga, it is a top-down approach. Always established in the I-ness, they will see how the world is and say that actually the world is also the I-ness or the Satchidananda. Whereas the person on this side will see that, okay, I have to go bottom up, I have to look upward. So they travel from the level of Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita to Advaita. Whereas for a Jnana Yogi, more or less, at least as of course, I know Brother Shivdas said earlier that when you say Advaita, nobody can really be at the level of Advaita, because once you become that, you have become one with the truth. So that is where the effort for them would be to stay at the level of Advaita always, at least the Bhava Advaita, because it cannot be in that. So anything that is done, that is where I think where Sitaram was mentioning, that will not satisfy them, because they know that anything that slips away from that ocean and becomes a wave or a mist, that Swami will say, is showing separation. So they will always be at the level of ocean, because every wave that raises from the ocean becomes Dvaita or the mist. but they would like to stay at the level of always the ocean, which is the basis of the wave and the mist. So that is where the Jnana Yogi will always go back, whether we say it's going back to the cause and then see the effect. So I think that is where one can see across how it pans out. Any other comments or questions on this? In a broader framework, we can also see for the for Tattvamasi kind of a thing, the Tat will be the inner self or the inner guru, and so the Jivatma is always trying to journey towards the Paramatma using that. So it's always on that Tattva Vichara that is always there. Even they say Bhagavatam gives that Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Tattva Mukti Sagaram. So it will always essence the principles of Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya and Tattva, because it is the Tattva which will be the undercurrent for Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya.
What is meant? Oh, sorry, Brother Sanjay.
No, Aruna,
Kind
please go
of-
ahead and then I'll go after you're done. Thank you.
No, I'm trying to understand the next sentence also. That's what I'm asking. But no one of them can be convincing to the uninitiated part. I didn't understand that part.
Yeah. We'll
Discuss after Sanjay's thing.
after
Yes. Yeah, Brother Sanjay's one. Thank you, sir.
No, we were thinking alike, Sister Aruna. It's the same exact question I had, to kind of explore what were the theories of knowledge that Swami is implying here. Yes.
I did not understand the uninitiated. Who is going to initiate some person? I think he means here uninitiated means immature persons or not
Auntie,
knowing.
what does it say in Telugu, Auntie, that line?
He doesn't, Swami doesn't say that.
Oh, then we don't have to worry. Then yeah, we will get along.
Nothing. Actually, looks like the opposite of what Sister Andy is saying, because uninitiated is not convincing for the jnanis, no? No one of them can be convincing to the jnani. So, uninitiated. So, the word is totally not suitable. Yeah.
Auntie, maybe you can read that line and Sitaram can translate again.
Yeah. లోకములోని ఏ వస్తువును ఏ పనియును ఎవ్వరును అతని అతని అతనిని తృప్తి పరజాలవు.
Auntie, can you read the previous sentence as well?
That's the దృశ్యకల్పితమైన లోకమునమా?
Yes, that one with, I don't think we did that yet.
You want me to read that again? Okay. దృశ్యకల్పితమైన లోకమును అతీతమైన ఊహలు కలిగి ఉండును.
In this world which is perceivable, the Jnani lives with thoughts beyond the perceivable world.
Yeah.
If I can paraphrase it.
Yeah.
It is what Swami is telling here is Drushya Kalpitamaina Lokamanu Atitamaina Uhalu. Atita means something which is beyond. Something which is right. And Uhalu here is thoughts or ideas or ideologies. I think that's where theories of knowledge phrase came into English translation here. Atitamaina Uhalu Kaligi Undunu. They live with the thoughts which are beyond the world that is being seen through the senses.
Yeah.
That is, I would say, the closest meaning of that sentence. Yes, Sanjayana.
So that second line in English, it does not exist, is it? So it seems to go from the first line in English to directly to the
So
Jnana
second
Yoga
line in
Yogi.
English,
Sorry, go ahead.
the second line here is this universe that we cognize, which is Drushya Kalpitamaina Lokamanu, as outside ourselves. That is not there in Telugu.
No.
Can be explained by means of various. No, it is not can be explained. Swami is telling about the Jnana Yogi himself, that he or she would be beyond, the thoughts would be beyond the Drishya Kalpita Loka. That is what I think, Swami.
And
Yeah, the second sentence seems to be off place.
So that concept, I mean, so there is nothing in there, Telugu, which talks about this theories of knowledge that can
No,
be.
no, nothing.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think that theories of knowledge, that's what it's coming as the ఊహించటం,
అతీతమైన
that the
ఊహలు.
ideologies, ఊహలు, which I think got translated here as theories of knowledge, but essentially it means they go beyond
The perceivable world.
their ideologies or what they perceive is beyond the realm of the cognizable world or perceivable world.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
And
the second
no one of
half of the
them-
second sentence, Anna,
yeah,
which is, but no one of them can be convincing to be uninitiated. I think that he has brought it from the next sentence, which is Trupti Paracha Jalaru.
Mm.
So he has kind of attached that to the second sentence, I guess.
Yeah, but I think it should be more of nothing of that can convince them.
Correct.
Nothing of this world can convince the jnani because he is seeking an ideology that is beyond the
Perceivable
Perceivable world.
Yes. We'll go to the next sentence, Auntie.
Yeah, okay. నిత్య కృత్యములను కూడాను అతిక్రమించి పోవాలని ఈ జ్ఞానయోగి తలంచును.
I think you didn't complete the previous one, Auntie. లోకములోని ఏ వస్తువును
అదే లోకములోని ఏ వస్తువును ఏ పనియును ఎవ్వరును అతనిని తృప్తి పరచజాలవు.
Nothing in this world, no work in this world, and nobody in this world can satisfy such a jnani. Yes, Auntie.
Because he is beyond this perceivable world. So nothing which exists, which he sees, is not going to satisfy him, his curiosity or his knowledge.
Sanjay, Anna, I think you have a question.
Ram, so this may be a little bit of a stretch, but it kind of makes sense. Is Swami trying to state that this one who is in this path of inquiry or is more inclined in this path is not easily convinced of the theories of creation, the theories of the theories usually subscribed to by people on the Bhakti Marga or the Karma Marga. And is that what Swami is trying to tell us? Like that, this is the reason, without saying so in so many words, because activity Swami talks about anyone else, they are not convinced of the reality based on an activity or anyone else or the material object in the universe. So the prior three paths that Swami talked about does not help this kind of a person. And that is the contrast Swami is trying to bring about between why this exists at all. Is that a proper way to conclude here?
Thanks for that question, Anna. Anyone has any comments, inputs on that one?
Sorry, I am just starting, but I don't have the answer, but I am just starting because Jnanis, usually, Baba said, no, for Jnanis, this world's a drop in the ocean of Satchidananda. So the Jnani will consider this world as an almost imaginary things, almost imaginary, not completely imaginary. So the drops in the ocean. So he does not value this actually. That's even the other sentences also that is true. So he want to go away from this cheating world. No, this is cheating actually. So he is not satisfied with anything like that. No, so he wanted to find out who am I actually in finally, and he believes, and he will believe, he believes in Upanishads. So Tatvamasi or I am that, he will believe in that one. So we cannot say that. As Brother Sanjay raised, the lower theories like the Bhakti Marga theories and the Karma Marga theories, or even the Raja Yoga, he may neglect. But he doesn't believe in this word as helping him to find out the answer, which is mystery for him. No, so the and that is how I look at it. Sorry, I don't know. I said no. I didn't start thinking anything, but I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, brother. Anyone wants to add on or present other viewpoints? Yes, Sitaram.
Just filling in some more thoughts from the discourse study that we have done in our center today. The word trupti reminds me of that context. So in the discourse that Swami gave on January 14, 2003, Sankranti, the occasion was where Swami was giving out Bahumatis, which are awards to the students after sports meet. So today happens to be coincidentally our sports meet day, sports and cultural meet day in Parthi, Prashant Nilayam. So what Swami tells in this discourse is, I understand that the students are performing all these sports and cultural events with lot of effort and with lot of purity, with the only reason to make me satisfied. Swami uses the word Trupti Parachu. That's why I thought I'll mention it here. And then Swami reminds us that, however, children, you must also understand how will Swami be satisfied. Just like the Jnani, Swami is telling here that your Sadgunas, your Saujanyata, your Saushilyam, and Utkrishtata, these are the things which will satisfy me. And hence, I'm just giving the summary of what the discourse was. So Swami tells, whatever efforts we are putting physically, I think students were performing a lot of stunts, all for the love of Swami. But what Swami is telling is, yes, these are all good, but this is not what satisfies me. But what satisfies me is your good character, is your good qualities, is your enthusiasm to grow internally more and more. So I'll stop there. But I think somehow I feel the Jnani is also having a very similar qualities, and it is not opposing any other theory. Like I think one of us mentioned here that the lower theories of knowledge like Bhakti, in Jnana Vahini, I think Swami mentioned that Bhakti is chief path to achieve Jnana. Bhakti is the beginning of achieving Jnana. I think it is not separate from other theories of knowledge, but it is the final phase where the devotee is becoming a jnani, where he wants to now see the truth and nothing else other than the truth, and wants to become one with that. And I think if some of us have seen the movie Annamaya, the last scene where Annamaya wants to merge in the Lord Venkateshwara, but Venkateshwara asks him, can you sing me one more song? I cannot. But Annamaya says, sorry, Lord, I'm tired now. I want to be one with you because I know that you and I are one. Why do you want to still keep me in this bondage? I think that is where a bhakta reaches to a stage of jnani, and hence it is more of a completion of a cycle, I would say, rather than separation from rest of the stages. I'm just sharing thoughts, but again, I may be wrong, Sairam.
Thank you, Sitaram. Any additional inputs on that?
Shall we go to the next one?
Sure, Auntie. I just wanted to also add that again, I think for a Jnani who is established in Satchit Ananda stage or that I-ness, I think for them, because once a person is already a part of that ocean, nothing that is separate from it will satisfy them. I think each and everyone who performs an activity is doing an activity to find some happiness or satisfaction behind that, based on the example what Sitaram also was giving. I think the whole effort is to move from one activity to another activity in search of that happiness or tripti. But then for a person who is already in that stage of tripti, no activity or any person as such will get them that, because they are already in that stage of, it is not about moving from one to another, but it is about staying in that place and then essencing the thing, because we look forward to the next moment, since we are thinking that the next moment will bring us that happiness or the next moment will bring us that satisfaction. But if one can stay in the moment and be connected with what that I-ness is, then I think they don't have to look forward to somebody, look forward to a thing, look forward to an activity to make them satisfied, because they are already established in that state of I-ness or satisfaction.
Easiness.
Yeah.
Easiness.
Yes, Andy. That's where I think they don't have to keep moving from one to another. And that is where nothing of these will make them satisfied, because they are that ocean kind of a thing. So just wanted to add that. Yeah, we can go to the next line.
Is it okay, Aruna?
I think Sanjay brother
Yes,
asked the
Auntie.
question.
Thank you.
Is she okay? Is he okay with
Yes.
that?
Sanjay and
No, my question was on the uninitiated, and that is not the sorry, the
It's not there in Telugu.
it's not there in Telugu, so it is immaterial. But one
Okay.
thing I do want to point out, I don't think in this section, just like in the other three sections, Swami is not talking about a jnani, whereas one on the path of jnana. So there's a huge distinction even when we talk about the Mahavakyas. They come about after one becomes right. So I think here it is more. Swami is trying to help us understand why there are these four margas,
Paths.
and who is the kind of person that falls into this marga, because they are not satisfied with the existing theories of, there's a God that exists, there is heaven, there is hell, there is karma theory. All those things are not convincing to them, and that is why they fall into this category where they're pursuing it through inquiry. And that's the way I understand. This is more about the people who do not fall into those categories and why they are seeking, why they have a different kind of approach to understanding the reality. Yes.
So you mean that those people who are on this path of Gnana Yoga, so those people Swami is talking about.
Yes, Santi. Yes, because I think last week or week before also we talked about this. All four paths eventually lead to jnana only.
Yeah.
Right. All four paths eventually lead to the same jnana, as just now Brother Sitaram mentioned about the devotee. All lead to the same jnana through different paths. Whereas the jnana yoga, the marga, does not start with a belief, but it starts with this inquiry, based on the various methodologies that are prescribed. And that's why I thought Swami was saying, they are not convinced with the existing theories, and that's why they fall into this fourth category.
Okay. Okay. Shall I go to the next sentence?
Auntie, Brother Shivdas has his hand.
Okay, Shivdasan. I don't.
That Brother Sanjay said, I was wondering, I read this, I completed this chapter, so as most of you have done it, and Bhagavan uses the Jnana Yogi, even in this light, the Jnana Yogi too yearns to merge in the center, the core of reality. So, here, I don't know, Bhavan is saying yogi is trying to merge. So it is, the Sanjay said Jnana Yoga, no? Bhavan used the word Jnana Yogi everywhere. And he is saying Jnana Yogi is like this. He is searching for the truth and he is not convincing the world. And for him, this is just a drop in the ocean of God, no? The reality. So, if anybody, Sai Sadiq, can you give me an explanation why the yogi word is used and yoga is used there? No? You follow my question?
Yeah.
Yes, brother. One auntie, that next line itself says Jnana Yogi. So maybe if you can read that line, we will know whether.
Yeah. So I'll read the next sentence. Asalu జీవితమునకు సంబంధించిన నిత్య కృత్యములను కూడాను అతిక్రమించి పోవాలని ఈ జ్ఞానయోగి తలంచును. Swami calls here as జ్ఞాన యోగి. Yeah. So Sitaram, can you please?
అసలు జీవితమునకు సంబంధించిన
నిత్య కృత్యములను.
So Swami is telling here, అసలు జీవితమునకు, in fact, for the life related, for the living related, not even life, జీవితం, living related activities, daily activities, Jnana Yogi strives to go beyond that at all points of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Sanjay, and I'm just trying to see Brother Shivadas's question, if you're wanting to answer that one. And
not answer as much as an sorry, it's a very good question. If I just used Chat GPT, the yogi is the one who is on the path. Doesn't mean he's reached the destination. So Jnana Yogi is the one who's on the path of Jnana Yoga or the Jnana Marga. He's not yet become a Jnani. He's still a Jignasu.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So maybe that might help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that one, because even in the 4 Mahavakyas, Swami would say that even Aham Brahmasmi is Dvaita, because there is Aham and there is Brahma. Only when it becomes Aham is it actually the truth, because there can be only one and no two. So even for Jnana Yogi, if it is Tattvamasi, that means the Tat has, or the Tvam has not become the Tat. So that is where I think the yogi is still on the path to become the yoga.
Itself, yoga itself, yeah.
Exactly. So just wanted to tell that one. Maybe from that context, one is still on the journey, because once you have become one, then there is nothing to speak about. And to that line, which was just translated, anyone wanted to add or share any other thought? Yes, Sister Vani.
I have a follow-up question to this Jnana Yogi, Jnani, and then the liberation. So the person who is on the path of Jnana Yoga is Jnana Yogi. And when that person gets the full knowledge that he and I are one, he becomes Jnani. And then when is the liberation happens? Is that what we call liberation?
Okay, so anyone wants to answer that question? When
Yeah,
does
I
one
would say
become?
that evidently what the Brahmavadi, that's the knower of Brahman is Brahman himself. So in that land, according to that, if he truly identify himself, or if he truly believes he is alone in existence in this world, then that's the liberation, no? Whether he is body or outside the body, doesn't matter. No? That's what our Hinduism is saying all the time. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Anyone else wants to add to that? Yeah, because we have the
I can remember one time we were discussing the jnani come to that stage, and with the God grace only, then they stay there. With the God grace only, they merge.
Yes.
This is my understanding before with the discussion in the Vahini before. Just sharing my thoughts here. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, sister. Anyone else on that point? Because the ahankara is the subtlest. So for the jnani, if the ahankaram exists that I have gained that knowledge, then the small I still exists, and so long as the small I exists, then the capital, the small I hasn't merged in the capital I fully, because again the same thing, the ahankaram will get mamakaram, and if ahankaram and mamakaram is there, then it will get kartrutva and bhoktrutva. So it's a chain reaction. If you have the subtle one of the ahankaram, if that, so long as the akaram of the aham exists, it's a problem. The akaram of the aham has to dissolve fully and become aham.
Yes.
Then only the jnani is at a point of a full ripe fruit, which then urvarikam eva bandhanat mrityor mukshi yamamritate, it has to fall off like that ripened cucumber, and for which of course absolutely God's grace and all of that is needed. So yes, so one may still become, they have become a jnani, and that becoming a jnani is again an obstacle. They have to let go of becoming a jnani, then I think the Jivan Mukta stage happens. Yes, sister.
Yeah, I remember when you say the chain. I remember the train in the Gita Vahini. Swami is saying jnana is like the train, that the true train. That you don't have to get off and get onto another train. But for everybody else, like Jignasu or Attatreya, like they have to get on and off from a lot of trains. But the person who's on the jnana yoga train is like a through train. Yes. I remember that your statement reminded me that.
Thank you, sister. Yes, brother.
Yeah, so actually, even though there are a lot of theories and Vedas or whatever it is, but according to the Bhagawan, what we see is that actually without God's grace, nothing had happened. So actually, he becomes one with God. That means he removed the border that separated him from God. Actually, which is mind, always Sai Satis use the word amanaska state, So only the mind separates me from God. So when the mind is destroyed or swallowed, because nothing can be destroyed, no? So everything is true. Everything is truth. And the Jnani will find after all, everything is truth. He is not other than truth, no? So when the mind is withdrawn from him, then there's no separation. So for that merger, definitely the God in himself, God in that person must sanction it. No? So the God in that person must blossom, no, come out and break that mind. So that breaking the mind barrier is God's help. So always, even Baba said, no, the Adi Shankara was apologizing for his mistake. The 3 mistakes you all know, but I have forgotten. So even though he spoke of all these things, he was praying to God and everything. So definitely the God is all, no, everything is all. But Jnani's path is different approach, but the Jnani can't born all of a sudden in the world. He should have been a devotee. He should have been a devotee or karma yogi or yogi, and then only this come. Even I have still my question is whether the Jnanis need not concentrate or that focus on God. My question. I believe that even the Jnana yogi has to concentrate to get that get the Jnanam to blossom, which is Raja Yoga. So yeah, please you can try. This is my question also. You suggest you understand the question or?
Yes, brother. Yeah. So,
Okay.
so you're saying in terms of even the Jnana Yogi essentially needs to be in a state of constant integrated awareness. And they also need to do Smara Nityam Anityatam. Every time they have to know, they know, but for them also it's a continuous practice which will keep it going, or else it's a slippery slope. Anyone can fall, can come down that. So it has to be a constant effort. That's why Swami would always say constant integrated awareness means being constantly telling, even like what you mentioned for Shankaracharya, any of the things we know, so many stories where even for Shankaracharya, for a second when his mind was coming down, the outside person when he was saying, I think Jagrata, like Jagrata kind, it reinforced even for Shankaracharya as to what the thoughts he needs to have. So the mind is so tempted to be externally facing that it every time it emerges, but the whole effort I think is to make it dissolve and go inside. For any small opportunity the mind emerges, and every time the mind emerges the ahamkaram emerges. So every time the effort should be to make the mind lose the akaram and like the amanaska or go back to aham. That is the constant integrated awareness that even Shankaracharya had to do. So if Shankaracharya had to do, then any of us have
We are
to
all.
do. So it is. Yeah.
Also, give me 1 minute, 2 minutes. Okay. Even you are good. I have seen that you are good in talking about the small I and capital I. And so self-inquiry with Ramana Maharshi was teaching his students. So even Bhagawan's lecture, there are 2-3 discourses fully on aham, 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 aham. So the first word that came out is aham, and so when we are in that, we keep the aham without going outside. That is jnana yoga. So aham, even when I practiced this Stelvingari for some years, and I found that I don't know whether it's true or not, but I found that it points out to one point inside. So it's a constant. What the Ramana Maharshi defined as Stilvingari is stay in the place from where I arises. So you have to trace back from where I arises from you. So I tried this one and I found that it is a point. It is a point. So it's a concentration there. So staying in that point means a concentration. So without concentration, nobody can get the knowledge. Because if we let loose concentration, then the world will appear. Yeah, so sorry for that. I took the time, too much time. Thank you, Sayana.
Oh, that was helpful. Thank you so much. Anyone wants to add to that? Because I have something to say, but I will wait for the aham part and then I will add to it. Okay. So there's this incident where for Ramana Maharishi, one of his disciples, he's a great Sanskrit scholar. And I heard this talk, I think it was from Prem. And he writes the first line, in Sanskrit, Hridaya Kuhara Madhye. He writes that. And after that, he's not able to complete it. So he goes and meets Ramana Maharishi, and then Ramana Maharshi asks him, what is it that it's going through your mind? And he says, I've written this line. I don't know how to complete it. So Ramana Maharshi takes that and then he completes it as Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram Hi Aham Aham Hi Sakshat Atma Rupena Bhati. So he says, in the cave of the heart, there is solely Brahman, and that Brahman says, Aham, Aham. And that verily is the effulgence of the Atman. So I think that whole thing of what we started off today's thing of Ekagrata or Kendriya Karana Shakti, all of that is to be at the level of that Aham, Aham, Aham. So every time we say our left heart says Labdab, Swami says there's on the right, there is the spiritual heart. And that spiritual heart is the one that says Aham, Aham, Aham. And if that we can, whether we say it through Soham or through Namasmarana, and that we stay in that, I think that is what a Jnana Yogi essentially does while being on that, to identify with that Aham. And while being in that Aham, the Atma Rupena Bhati, the effulgence of the Atman shines forth. So it's for us to reinforce that and stay in that level of I-ness. That is being what Swami will say, like that ocean of milk or whatever thing, however we have in the Puranas and so on, it is told, but ultimately it is in the cave of the heart where Brahman, the absolute Brahman resides, and what it resounds or permeates across whether the body or the whole universe is Aham. So just wanted to add to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you. That's the thing. Yeah, in the Bhagawan's discourse, I don't know what the date and the three discourse about that. He's speaking more than what Ramana Maharshi said. No, so nicely to explain the aham. So he said the first word that emanate in the whole world is aham. Because, aham. Yeah, the first word, not the om. He said it's not the om. If the first word is aham. Sometimes I think that when Bhagavan wrote a letter, there was no one, there was no one to know who I am till I created the world at my presence with one word, So with one word, I usually think that is aham. This is because Bhagavan said it already. Okay, thank you for that helping comment.
Sorry, ma'am. I just have
Yes.
another question on this line. When it says the Jnana Yogi strives to transcend even the daily activities related to living itself, are these daily activities referring to like the routine rituals and things that were done in those days, or is it referring to eating, sleeping, like those kind of basic daily activities? And how did they transcend it? And is this something that we should attempt in our life?
అసలు జీవితమునకు సంబంధించిన నిత్య కృతములు, దట్ ఈస్ డైలీ యాక్టివిటీస్ రిలేటెడ్ టు ద డే జీవితమునకు, ఫర్ లైఫ్, వాట్ యాక్టివిటీస్ ఆర్ వి డూయింగ్, That's exactly what it means in Telugu. Your question is it that ritualistic part of our life, or that activities which we do for our own, for conducting our own lives? So you are asking that question. I maybe.
Until Nitya Kritya is daily activities, right?
Day-to-day activities. But in those days, earlier days, even performing a havan or yajna was also a daily activity for them.
Yes, sir.
Does it mean those ritualistic activities or daily activities which we do for our own living?
Wouldn't it be any activity?
Yeah, I think so.
Because ultimately, whether we do cutting vegetable and putting into the tawa or any this thing for cooking on that fire, or whether we are doing yajna, the principle behind both activities is to realize who is the doer. So I would say, in general, we can take it as the day-to-day activities, but we can also relate it to any activity.
Ritualistic activity also.
Yes, Sanjayana.
Sai Ram. No, I think this is a very profound question, because I think a lot of things that Swami says in many of these, in many parts of this text, there's a lot of layers of unsaid. And because, Swami does not directly, for example, in the early chapters where Swami talks about the other matas were like mushrooms growing on a tree, or they were like puddles of small waters, while the river of Sanatana Dharma flowed to the ocean. Swami would not directly um, create any kind of discrimination or separation, because for him all paths are leading to him. So he would not, but in not so many words, he is definitely saying what is so much higher and what is so much more accurate about Sanatana Dharma. In a similar way, I think in many of these statements here, Swami, there is an implied meaning, just as Kalyani pointed out. See, back in those times, there were traditions who can do what karma, who can perform what kind of puja. In a puja, who can do what, who is allowed to do what, who is not allowed to do something. Whereas here, Swami is probably saying the one who was on this path was not really convinced about the separation of duties and separation of roles in society in daily activities, and they did not buy into this, that we are different from each other. There is something that is separate about each other. They were engrossed in finding what is the one binding universal principle, the tattva vichara, that binds us all together, that unites us. If that is really the case, then we should not be creating divisions in society based on action, based on one's status, based on one's birth, and so on and so forth. And that is how I understood this sentence to mean. I'll stop there. Yeah.
Thank you, Anna. Yes, Brother Shivdas.
In the same sentence, this one also they are not bound by social or other obligations. No, so, and please, in addition to that, so what I see is that when we are engaged in this vichara marka or jnana marka, and if we still spend our time with social obligation like attending a wedding or even whatever the function, maybe holy functions or not holy function, whatever. So that will waste of time, because there is no point. Nothing will help a person. Nothing will help a person. So he will have to transcend all these obligations. Otherwise, he will not reach the goal. No? He will reach the goal. So, Baba is not saying this is the truth actually. Baba is saying for what Jnana Yogi is doing. Okay, that's what I said. What he is saying, what is Jnana Yogi trying to do? So, and we have to find out what is best for us. But even many Jnana Yogis, they don't dress as we dress. They don't eat what we eat, and they don't speak the language what we speak. So they are totally different because they are in a different world and they treat the world actually not false actually they because they don't take this false, but this is a stepping stone to go into that vaster field. So he has to give up this the bondage giving appearance, no? So that's what the Jnana Yogi transcending this obligation and everything. That's what I was thinking about. Sorry. Thank you, Sairam.
I'll just add one more thing. There is a nice discourse Swami gave about Adi Shankaracharya. It's predominantly about Adi Shankaracharya in that whole discourse. And Swami talks about how the the when Adi Shankaracharya comes back. Now he's not. I would not say he's on the Jnana Yoga path, but at the same time, when he comes back to perform his mother's last rites, they were upset, angry. How can you have taken sannyasa? How can you come back and do this? And that's when he then talks about some of these things, right? Brahma Satya Jagat Nitya and Sarvam Vishnumayam and so on. Swami talks about those things. So I think that is one of the examples that we can probably use to understand what is being implied here.
Sairam, one clarification here. Is that the Swami saying to transcend the daily chores and the social obligation? Or, as Brother Sivadas mentioned, the Jnani choose to transcend the daily chores and the social obligation? The Jnani will transcend the daily chores, am I right? And the social obligation. So, what is Jnani will? Jnani is straight to the Lord. That's how we look at it, or what is transcend here?
So, sister, we gave that chore to the Jnani, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Auntie, if you can just read that line, sorry, once more, if you can read that line.
అసలు జీవితమునకు సంబంధించిన నిత్య కృత్యములను కూడాను అతిక్రమించిపోవాలని ఈ జ్ఞానయోగి తలంచును. He thinks, he believes.
So it is for the... Yes, Auntie, thank you for that. So, sister, it is Swami is telling in terms of the Jnana Yogi, how he thinks as he goes about his daily life is to transcend all these activities. Like, it can be looked at several layers. It can be looked at in terms of what is social obligations and so on. It can be looked at, it is the interpretation of that same term. Nitya Kritya can be day-to-day activities, or it can be the activities that go slightly beyond to what you encounter on day-to-day, which comes to societal obligations and so on. And you can go even further higher. So it is at what level the Jnani is. I think for beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, yata drishti tata srishti. So when the Jnani goes about what he continuously thinks or what he continuously sees in activities or obligations, whatever is done is based on what we had seen earlier also, right? In the earlier lines, where he is not satisfied with just the basic things of what he's doing. He's looking at going beyond that and essencing something that is not perceivable by the senses, not cognizable by the mind. So always he's thinking about that ideology which will unite him back with that ocean. So that's what I think it is coming down.
Yeah.
And why I asked you that question also is, it is for us also to wear that like how we should also be approaching life when anything that we do. Now what we say is, oh, will this activity please Swami?
Swami.
Will this
Yes.
activity not? That is how we can start. But ultimately, it will be getting to a stage. If Swami were to do that activity, how will Swami do it? We should do it like that. Initially, we will start by saying, will Swami like it or not? And then get to a stage of, if Swami does that activity, how? So I think that is what the journey should be essentially.
Okay, so the transcend of the daily activity, the daily chores and the social activities, I think in his mind he will do it. He has to live in the world,
Yeah,
right?
of course, he'll do.
Everything he will offer to the Lord, kind of only he transcend. Like he doesn't take it to himself. That the transcend part only, because he's living, right? But how that state of mind works on this kind of transcend only, I'm trying to see how Jnani works. So in
Yeah.
that case, he will maybe offering, right? Transcend in that sense. Thank
And
you.
daily activities not only is offering to the Lord, but he doesn't want to take the doership and the enjoyership of the activity which he does.
Yes,
I'm not
that's
doing.
how.
God is making me do, and he is the doer, and he is the enjoyer. That doership and enjoyership
That mindset he will
that he will.
performing something. Okay, okay, that's makes sense. Thank you, Sarah.
And Sister Kalyani, was your question answered, or is it still we are in the search of?
No, I think everyone has given like various viewpoints, which is great. So I think I think the way that they transcend it, I think may not necessarily be to give it up or renounce it completely, but in the mindset and in the intention with which they do those activities, maybe.
Sure, sisters. Yeah, I think if if we are not in tension, I think the intention will be fine. So I think it should be good. Any other thoughts for that one, or else we can, we have the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, but is this, we are talking about the isness, right? Isness, like that. Why it was written in block letters, like a capital letters? You know anything for that reason? Any reason?
Sister, I think Swami in Telugu, auntie had read it as Astikatvam. So the Astik, yeah, is that the one, auntie? Auntie, you're on mute.
Astikatva Mahasamudramulo, the ocean of existence. The capital Y Swami has written is only he's mentioning about the Sat, Chit, Ananda, that Sat part of it. There's the existence part of it. What Swami is mentioning about. That's why he has written in capital letters. Yes,
auntie. In Telugu, there is no capitals, no, auntie. In Telugu, it is.
Astikatvam. That's how.
Yeah. So I think it is Kasturi Garu who has had that sister. So for Swami, I think it is just the same, this thing.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other thoughts or questions on this one?
Only one thing I would like to add, because sannyasins, they give up all social obligations, and so only thing they have to eat. No? So even they eat, if somebody comes and offer it to him, he eats it. So ultimately, that yogi, that particular renunciant, that yogi, is given up all social duties and obligations and everything, and that's why he wore the ochre robe. And yeah, so at one point of time, all this been given up also. The transcending can be that also in one point of time. Otherwise, what you discuss, but is also correct. Also correct. That's what I wanted to add it. Thank you, Sai.
Thank you, brother. Sanjayana, you had your hand up and then you dropped. Anything you wanted to say?
No, and this may need to wait for next week. I thought that Swami, there's a huge leap that is made between these two statements. The previous one which we were discussing till now to the next one in the vast ocean of isness. All objects are but drops in his view. How does to come to that viewpoint that all are but a drop? That's a huge leap from the previous statement, and trying to see if there's some way to bridge the two sentences, how Swami went from that previous statement to the next statement. We can talk about it next time. Yeah.
Sai Ram, Satish.
Yeah, sure.
4:30.
Yes, Sandy. Yeah. So maybe on that note, we can take this back and say how from ekatvam, how anekatvam emerged. I think from the diversity from the unity part, we can just contemplate how does that reconcile with the earlier one. Maybe that's some homework Swami has given us to do for the following week. We'll come back with that and discuss, and then we'll close with Om Shanti now. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.